Oh, I'm on camera. Oh, I was just doing my workout. I want to be as strong as an ant. Anybody out there want to be as strong as an ant? Yes. So ants are amazingly strong. I wish I could be as strong as it. About how much can an ant lift for its body size? About, so 25 times their weight they can pull. That's pretty amazing, huh? And with their mouth, okay, they can pull 5 times their body weight. So those are some amazing, amazing ant facts. Also, do ants have lungs? This is a lung, a plastic lung that looks like a human lung. Do ants have lungs like this? Any guesses? No, ants don't have lungs. They breathe. They breathe like humans do, like mammals do. But they have holes in their sides called spiracles. And that's where the air comes in. But before I begin my story about ants today, I have a special guest. Every day at 3:30, the Headwaters Science Center does a science show. And on Sunday, I talked about animals, insects actually, more specifically, and insects' life cycles. And our monarch just emerged today. I am going to very carefully try to show you. So the Sunday before last, she made a cocoon, not a cocoon, but a chrysalis. And this morning, when I came in, I looked with some of our guests, and we counted the chrysalises that were still here, and we found 4. And later, we saw this. Can you see the camera? Yep. Come a little bit closer.
That's a great shot.
All right. And I'll try to get... And I can tell that this is a female. If you're interested in monarch butterflies, you can watch another show I did just about monarch butterflies the Sunday before by looking at the veins on her wings. And they're a little bit thicker than the veins of a male monarch, and there's no kind of a thickening on one of the veins that looks like a spot. So I know this is a female. Today, when I'm done at the Science Center, I'm going to bring her back to my yard where her mom laid her as an egg and release her. Okay. So, this was an insect we invited into the Headwaters Science Center. There are also insects that we do not invite into the Headwaters Science Center, and that often come into my house uninvited as well. So I don't have an actual ant today, but I do have a little mini ant that you can buy at the Headwaters Science Center gift shop. And I talked about this another time. I have an ant life cycle where you can see ants are eggs, okay, and then they are larvae, and they become pupa. That's the last stage before they become an adult. And if you're really interested in ants, we don't sell the ants here, but we sell on ant farms or ant habitats, and then you can mail away, and the actual ants are sent to you. All right.
What if I collected some ants in my yard and put them in the ant habitat? Would that work?
I'm not sure. It could work. I don't know. That would be something I'd have to read more about. Because there are many different kinds of ants. There are many different species of ants. So I don't know if the kind that you order here is one that is specially well adapted for this kind of life. Okay. So, and I have a story today. Before I read the story, I want to thank the members of the Beltrami Electric Company who participate in the Roundup program, where they round up their bill to a whole number that help support community events such as our science shows at the Headwaters Science Center. But today, the story I have is called Ant Attack. And if the audience, if you want to come up a little closer, if you're behind the camera, then we can't see you, but you'll be able to see the pictures. This is a story by Ann James with illustrations by Anthony Lewis. Ant Attack. And I chose this story because it talks about ants. I've been seeing ants in my own house lately. And this is a way that I think you can learn about science by doing something similar to what the girl in this story does. Or maybe you can learn from what she does and not do the same thing. Candy, Jenny whispered. Candy, candy, candy. Raise your hand if you like candy. All right. Are you siblings?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever gotten candy and not wanted to share it with your sister?
Yes.
What did you do so you don't have to share?
Hide them.
Hide them? You hid the candy?
Or I licked it so then they wouldn't want to eat it.
Ah, we'll see what this girl does. It was early Saturday morning, and Jenny was hurrying to her clubhouse. She wanted to get there before her brother woke up. Fred was always following her. He didn't know about her secret candy stash yet. But someone else knew about it. A whole bunch of tiny someones with lots of eggs. Ants. Uh-oh, thought Jenny. They found my candy. And if Fred sees them, he'll find it too. Sorry, ants, said Jenny, but you've got to go. Right? You see? The ants came in the door and into the dresser in her clubhouse. What do you think she has in the dresser?
Candy.
Her candy. Jenny knew she couldn't sweep the ants out. Jenny knew she could sweep the ants out, but she didn't want to hurt them. I'll find a new hiding place, she decided. She put the candy behind the books up on her bookshelf. They'll never find it up here, she thought. What do you girls think? Good idea? Or not such a good idea, or a really bad idea?
A really bad idea.
Really bad idea, huh? Yeah, I think putting it on the top shelf, I don't know if that... Why is that not a good idea?
Because then the ants would go up there, they'd still climb up, and then they'd get all over things.
Oh, the ants would still climb up and get all over the things. Yeah, ants can climb up pretty well, can't they? Down below, the ants were scurrying every which way. I bet they're wondering where the candy went, thought Jenny. Which reminds me, I could use a snack. Jenny ate half a candy bar and put the rest back. To her surprise, an ant was sitting on the shelf. How did you get there? She asked. How do you think the ant got there?
It was already on there, but she didn't see it.
Yeah, the ant was already on there, right? The ant was exploring around the clubhouse looking for something to eat. Oh well, one ant couldn't do any harm. Is that a good thing? Is that wise? No. What happens if one ant finds something yummy to eat?
Then all the ants.
All the ants do. The ant picked up a little crumb of chocolate with its jaws. Don't tell anyone where you found that, Jenny told the ant. It's a good thing ants can't talk, though, she thought. The ant climbed off the shelf and went straight to the other ants. They tapped it on the head with their feelers. The ant with the chocolate headed out of the clubhouse. All the other ants started marching to Jenny's new hiding place. She couldn't believe it. How did the ants know where to go? How did the ants know where to go?
The other ant told the other ants where it was.
Right. The ants told the ant that had the chocolate told the other ants where to go. Boy, I need to find out about ants fast, Jenny thought. She ran into the house and found a nature book. Algae, amoeba, anaconda. Aha! Ants. Read me a story, Jenny. Jenny jumped. It was Fred, right? Her little brother Fred. And this is what she reads about ants. Ants. Ants are insects. Ants are little animals with 6 legs. Close up, an ant looks like this. You can see. And actually, I have a better close up of an ant, where you can see more parts of it. Are more detailed. So they have antenna, right? And then their body. So ants, like insects, have 3 parts. Like all insects, have 3 parts: the head, the abdomen, and the thorax. And when you're looking at ants, and you want to tell which kind of ant you have, also look here. It looks kind of like their waist. It's called the petiole. And some of them have 1, some of them have 2. And that's one thing you can look at if you want to try to decide, look at a field guide of ants to see which kind of ant you have. And what do they do? What do they do with their antenna?
They feel with.
They feel and they kind of taste with their antenna. This is my moth antenna, and moths do something similar too, right? They can use it, right? They take it out and they can feel and taste. Okay, we taste with our mouth, and ants taste with their feet.
Like butterflies?
And they have mandibles, right? Talk about a jaw. And they can hold on to things, but they can't chew. So when they eat, they kind of like suck out the juices. It works for ants. Oh, and this is another interesting thing I think about ants. If you look on their front legs, up here, they have it's kind of like a comb. It's a special hook that they use to groom themselves. They can never lose it, huh? It's pretty handy. All right. I'm reading about how when an ant finds food, it goes home, Jenny told him. Want to hear? Okay, said Fred. On the way, it leaves a scent trail, read Jenny. On the trail. When an ant finds food, it hurries back toward its nest. On the way, it leaves a scent trail, a special smell path that tells other ants, follow this trail. As more ants follow it, the scent trail becomes stronger and stronger. When ants stop using the trail, it fades away. And there's a word scientists use for animals that have smells to communicate. Do you know what that word is? There's an F. It's called pheromones. Pheromones. Wow, she exclaimed. That first ant left a scent trail for the other ants to follow. That's why they went to the shelf. What ants? What shelf? Asked Fred. Whoops! Jenny had almost given away her secret. Here, Fred, look at the book, she said. I'll be right back. Have you ever almost let the cat out of the bag? Almost let out a secret? Yeah? Jenny raced back to the clubhouse. Oh no! Now there are 2 lines of ants, she cried. The ants swarmed over a candy bar. Each ant picked up a morsel of chocolate and headed for the clubhouse door. They're following the scent to my candy, Jenny thought. I've got to stop them. Uh-oh. Do you think this is going to stop them? No, huh? Ants are pretty sneaky. She built a wall of books but the ants went right around the wall and picked up the trail on the other side. "There's no stopping you guys," she said. "Oops! I mean you girls. The book said that only female ants gather food." Jenny followed the chocolate-carrying ants outside. They were heading for a big rock. Next to the rock was a tiny hole. The ants were marching right into it. "What are you doing?" asked Fred. Jenny jumped. "Fred, I didn't see you. What are you doing?" he asked again. I'm watching ants," Jenny told him. "See? They're going into that little hole. They have a home under the ground. It's called a colony, and it's full of tunnels and stuff." That was in the book. So here is an illustration of an ant colony. Ants live together in colonies. Every colony has a queen, other female ants called workers, and male ants. Only the queen lays eggs. All right, so you see the entrance, and here's a tunnel, and here's a chamber where the queen ant is, and the workers, they take care of the eggs and different chambers. And the male ant here, there are also a few male ants. And this is much smaller, right? Have you looked, yeah? Where the ant colonies can be gigantic. They can be like an acre or very, very big, depending on the type of ant. Fred squatted down to look. 1, 2, 4, 7, 10 ants he counted. By the way, he's counting. How old do you think he is?
4.
Yeah, maybe, right? "More than 10, Jenny said. And there are way more in a colony. The book says there can be thousands of ants, even 1,000,000. That's a lot." "Right," said Fred. "Did you know that if you weigh all the people in the world and you weigh all the ants, because ants are very, very tiny, right? It takes a lot of ants to be the same weight as one person. What's going to weigh more? The weight of all the people in the whole world, or the weight of all the ants? The weight of all the ants is going to be greater than the weight of all the people." Okay. Jenny just nodded. She was busy thinking, "How can I get the ants off the trail to my candy before Fred goes to the clubhouse?" she wondered. "Maybe I can distract them with some other kind of food." "Let's go to the kitchen, Fred," Jenny said. "I need to get something." What else do ants like to eat? What do you think? Yeah, what else do ants like to eat?
Pretzels.
Pretzels?
My little sister once fed ants pretzels, and then they started crawling on the porch.
Oh, so you have experience with something similar to this, huh?
Does your mother know about that? Just you don't have to answer that. Say, I have a question back from the page now that I've interrupted you.
Oh, go ahead.
I heard you say that the female ants are the ones that go out and get the food.
Yes.
I'm just going to guess. And then they bring it back?
They bring it back to the colony.
What do the male ants do?
They fly around to find a queen to mate with. There's not many of them. Most of the ants in a colony are female ants.
Oh, so and then the food is brought to the male ants?
I think so, yeah. Especially when they're younger, because the worker ants bring food, and they keep the eggs safe. They keep the pupa safe. They clean up the colony. They bring the food in. Sometimes even some kinds of ants they grow special fungus for the babies to eat. Yeah. Let's see. How can I get the ants off the trail to my candy before Fred goes to the clubhouse, she wondered. Maybe I can distract them with some other kind of food. Let's go to the kitchen, Fred, Jenny said. I need to get something. What have you two been up to? Asked Mom. Watching ants, announced Fred. Oh, said Dad, looking over his paper. How observant of you. Observant. Okay, Dad, groaned Jenny. Do you know any dads who tell silly jokes like that? No? Okay. Looking for something, said Mom. I'm trying to figure out what ants like to eat, said Jenny. Just don't bring any ants in here, honey, Mom said. And please put those lids back on tight. The ants would just love to get into our food. I spend time telling my kids, make sure you wipe all the crumbs off the counter. We don't want any more ants in the house. Have you ever said things like that? Jenny hurried back to the clubhouse with 4 kinds of food for the ants. She set out little piles of rice, salt, flour, and oatmeal. She put the half-eaten candy bar on the ground, too. The ants checked out the piles right away. Girls, do you have a guess? What's going to happen?
They're gonna go into the house and look for more food.
In the house? Well, she put this in the clubhouse. You mean the clubhouse? The ants will come in? Which pile do you think the ants will like the best?
The candy bar.
The candy bar? And what do you think will be second favorite? You think they'll like the sugar more or the oats or the salt? Which one do you think there's least favorite?
Salt.
Probably the salt? They tried the salt. They tried the flour. I forgot about the flour. The oatmeal and the rice. But most of them piled onto the candy. That was still their favorite. I guess you like sweets, said Jenny. That makes 2 of us. 1,001 of us. So, what was sweet besides candy? Aha! Jenny thought. Sugar. But Mom was using the sugar. Sweet. Sweet. Sweet, Jenny muttered, looking around the kitchen. I need something sweet. She spied the fruit bowl on the table. Fruit is sweet, she yelled, making Fred jump. Jenny grabbed an orange and raced outside. Jenny put some orange sections in the clubhouse doorway, right in the middle of the scent trail. Ants swarmed all over the orange pieces. They picked up tiny bits and carried them back to the colony. It worked, cried Jenny, licking her sticky fingers. Jenny had spoken too soon. There were lots of ants swarming over the orange, but just as many marching to her candy. You guys never give up, she moaned. What will it take to keep you away from my candy? She remembered what her mom had said in the kitchen. Put those lids on tight. That's it, Jenny shouted. She ran back to the kitchen and found a plastic container. Breakfast is almost ready, Mom told her. I'll be back in a minute, Jenny said. Jenny put her candy into the container and watched the ants swarm over it. They couldn't get in. The top was on too tight. After a while, they all wandered away to the orange sections. Jenny hid the candy behind the books on her shelf. Victory is sweet, she thought. Now I won't have to worry about the ants or Fred getting into my candy. Where are they going? Piped a familiar voice. Jenny whirled around. Where are the ants going? Fred asked again. Jenny took her brother's hand. They're going home for breakfast, she said, just like us. He never gives up either, she thought to herself. Okay, so this is an experiment. I don't really want you to try all of it at home, but what I do encourage you to do is to watch ants, maybe even lay down on the grass and watch what they're doing. See if you can find ants that are carrying heavy things. See if you can find ants that are building their homes bigger, that are taking out pieces of sand to make their houses bigger. And see if you can see maybe where ants are on the sidewalk and step over them instead of stepping on them. Because ants are important, right? They do a lot for us. They help keep our soil healthy. They help clean up. Otherwise, we'd have lots of dead insects and dead things all over. And ants help keep our world clean. Okay, and don't invite them into your kitchen. Okay, any questions? And don't invite them into the science center. We don't want any unwelcome, uninvited ants here. Well, thank you very much. Headwaters Science Center is open every day, opening at 9:30 until 5, Monday through Saturday, and on Sundays we're open from 1 to 5 p.m. Did I say 9:30?
9:35.
9:35.